My mic was muted and I forgot. Hello there to all you bucket heads and welcome to all of you found. Dylan, stop laughing. I'll show you in a moment. This is Under the Helmet Podcast, the most disorganized podcast on the internet. While I have got you here, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Share the episode with your friends, your enemies, your lovers, really anyone. And I don't know. This is normally Dylan's bit, but without further ado, I'm going to bring in both my co-host as well as our special guest tonight. Thank you, Callahan. And let's give it up for everybody. So joining us tonight.
Mic's on. Let's go. See, that's how it feels. That is how it feels.
I always wondered how it feels to screw up the intro.
Oh wait, are we supposed to have helmets?
We did when we were first starting. We would always have like a helmet that we put on at the end.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Oh, wait. No, wait. What is that one? Can I see that for a sec? What is that one made out of?
This is foam.
That's foam?
Yeah, foam. It's really, really thin. It's like paper thin. I actually made it out of smaller material than I planned. I thought it was 5 millimeter and it's 3 millimeters, so I just ran with it anyway.
All right. Well, for those of you who haven't noticed,
it's a lot more comfortable than a Black Series helmet. I can confirm it is more comfortable.
Oh, you put it on, didn't you?
Yeah.
Hasn't
been the helmet bit in months. Happy to see the return. I have my helmet on.
This is true. Dylan's got his helmet. I did my hair today and didn't want to put it on.
You're not gonna put it on. I don't blame you.
No. I've seen the after effects of helmet hair after a con for like 8 hours. I'm good with that today.
There's some photos of me that you can definitely tell are from later in the con just because of the way my hair looks.
Oh,
like at the very beginning, like when I took photos with I did all my like cast or like celebrity photos at the beginning. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna make sure my hair looks like good for these. But yeah, speaking of photos, well, let's go ahead and introduce our third wonderful guest, Mark. How's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going? I'm all right.
All right. Well,
welcome
we are really happy to have
podcast.
You guys talking over each other. No, I'm happy to be here. I mean, I got to meet Dylan here recently, so that's pretty cool. I don't know who the other host is. I don't know what your name is. So that's
hi there. I'm Eli.
What's your name?
I live far away from Dylan.
What's your name though? I need to know who I'm talking to.
Oh, Instagram. I am Basement Beskar Cosplay.
Okay, I knew that, but I don't know what I'm calling you while I talk to you.
Oh, Eli. Eli works.
Okay, Eli. All right, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, for those who are unaware, this right here is Mark. I love pointing in the wrong direction. This is Mark. He does the things.
I do some stuff. I had to change it to Mark does the things because I do so many things, I don't just, you're Dylan, you just cosplay. Isn't that your thing, right? Because you just cosplay.
Yeah, but I also do more than cosplay, but I like the just cosplays bit because I'm so much more than that.
Well, cosplay's a pretty big umbrella, There's a lot involved with that.
Exactly. That wide lens.
Go ahead.
I went with Basement Beskar cosplaying because when I first started out, all of my props were being made out of my parents' basement. And that was the space that I had to work with.
Right.
And admittedly, you can see it in the quality of some of my earlier stuff. I mean, there's still posts from back when I was just starting that they were a little rough, but we've stepped into everything. And now you have arguably my finest stuff I've done, which is my Spider-Man photo shoot. I'm super proud of that one. But, there's a gradual improvement.
Right.
It's all about progression over time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure.
So if you guys want, so at the beginning of every episode, we go, we put out our post on Instagram. We've been asking people to comment, something related to the episode. So for this one, we asked our community, what your favorite con moment was, and to go into detail about that. So we did get some responses, and we're going to go ahead and read them out. So first off, we have Without Fear, who said meeting Charlie Cox was pretty legit.
That has to have been amazing.
Charlie Cox is going to be at GalaxyCon here pretty soon.
Oh, really?
Nice. He's a Daredevil cosplayer, so dream come true for him.
Okay.
Then we have Marmor Does Cosplay, who said, I think one of my favorite con moments was reading Robbie Damon in 2019 and getting him to sign my Persona 5 art book. I gave him a watercolor painting of Akechi, and he was so sweet. I think I pronounced that right. I'm not big on Japanese pronunciations.
I was going to say, I don't know Persona 5 at all, so
Me either. And then we have our good friend Sydney, a.k.a. Dealing in Absolutes, who said, my favorite con experience was being able to meet Ross Sandbridge. He plays the body of Snoke in the sequel trilogy, and he said I was the first ever female Kylo he'd ever met and signed so many things for me.
Wow.
That's pretty
I remember
awesome.
seeing her posts about that. Those were so cool.
And then we have Cosplay Annie, who said, my favorite con experience was actually last year in December. I met Billy Boyd for a photo op dressed as a hobbit, and he said I looked fantastic. After that, I got to see the panel with him and Andy Serkis. Got in line to ask Billy a music-related question. I don't know how I managed to do that with my anxiety in front of hundreds of people. And then got to witness Billy singing his famous Edge of Night live on stage. It was dead quiet, and I almost cried because that song means so much to me. Yeah, pretty surreal day. So and then we all commented as well. So I'll go ahead and put the spotlight. I guess I'll do in order. I'll do Eli's first. You said my favorite con experience has to be when I had my chest plate of my Mandalorian armor signed by the armorer herself.
Story behind that is it's a fun one. I didn't have anything for her to sign, but I'd paid for a photo and an autograph. So I get up there and you can barely hear me, but they were pretty much the first celebrity I've ever met. I live in Indiana, kind of middle of nowheresville. We'll get celebrities who come to our cons, but she was on The Mandalorian. I was done in my Mandalorian outfit. And she was like, what do you have to sign? And so I just started looking around, looked down, snapped my chest plate off and flipped it around, held it out for her. But she was super cool.
Speaking of signed chest plates, at this last con, you gave me the idea. So Dickie Beer was there. For those who don't know, Dickie Beer was the stunt actor for Boba Fett in Return of the Jedi. He's the one that fell into the Sarlacc pit. So I got him to sign my.
He signed your chest plate. He did.
He was a very interesting fella, because he very much had the like Harrison Ford, like, he's fucking Star Wars fans kind of persona. He was very nice.
Well, he's been dealing with this crap since Return of the Jedi, man. What do you expect?
I know. I was like, he's gonna like come to him dressed as Boba Fett. He's gonna be like, that's so cool. And he was like, another one of you fuckers.
I mean, come on, though. Come on.
All right. So
can you blame him?
Oh, absolutely. No, it was great. I don't want to talk down to the guy because that's not true. He was amazing, but it was a very good warm up experience, because the one I was most excited about was meeting John Wesley Shipp, because as you can see by the helmet, I am a huge fan of the Flash. Jay Garrick is my favorite Flash. We did an episode on DC movies, and I pitched a Jay Garrick Flash movie. So of course, meeting John Wesley Shipp was like a dream come true. I was smiling from ear to ear. I could barely talk. I was like, can you sign my helmet? So he did indeed sign my helmet.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. So now I have Jay Garrick's signature on my Jay Garrick helmet. And I'd like to get a little stand for it so I can display it like this.
You need to get it authenticated.
Normally I have it.
Ooh.
You should get it authenticated.
I have a photo of him holding it.
Do what?
I don't know. I have a photo of him and I standing together, and he's holding it.
Oh no, I mean, but like you can get autographs authenticated, and they put like a number on it or whatever, and then it makes it more valuable.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
I have a Bo-Katan helmet that's signed by Katie Sackhoff, and I got it verified at the con, so it has a sticker, saying it's worth. Well, not saying it's worth, but saying that is a genuine signature. Makes it more valuable if I was going to sell it, but I'm not going to.
I got you. Yeah. They were Timothy Zahn was there as well, and he was doing like authentications and stuff like that. But yeah. I didn't want his signature because I didn't have any of the books to sign. Like it sounds mean, but I didn't have any of his books to sign because I'm an audiobook fiend.
Right.
Can you sign my phone?
Yeah. So I was gonna be like, hey, sign my Audible app. So I felt so bad because I was gonna like ask him some questions about like Thrawn and like, hey, anything you can tell us about like the new Ahsoka show, and all of that just went completely out the window. I was like, you're the guy.
See, he would have been like, I didn't write the show. That's totally what he would have been like. Be like, I didn't write the show. Come on, like.
I know.
They just took his character, man.
He was like, Dave Filoni came to him and like. That's what the rumors are, is that Dave Filoni went to him and asked him for help writing Thrawn for the new Ahsoka show. And I was like, oh, is there any, like, I know them Disney NDAs go hard, but, like, is there anything you can tell us? And I just completely blanked.
That's
and
the moment
it was
when
a good
see,
experience, but it was awkward. Like, I walked away, and my girlfriend Erin was like, that was so awkward. And I was like, listen, I don't know how to meet a celebrity.
I'm not gonna lie. If you asked him to tell you anything about the Ahsoka show, I can just see the little red dot appearing on his head as one of the Disney NDA hit squads are just like, don't say anything.
I know you're saying that, but like I was at a con and I met the guy who played Vader in the Kenobi series. So just so you guys know, Hayden was not in the suit doing those fight scenes. It was another guy. Really? And this dude's a straight badass. He's huge too, like really tall. I took some pictures with him, and I actually sat here and I talked to him for quite a while because it was not a very big con. He didn't have a very big line, and I was asking him all kinds of questions. He's with the stunt team that did Kenobi and does Mandalorian and everything. So he was like, "Yeah, I'm leaving Monday to film The Mandalorian." So he was telling me that he actually had a role in that, but he wouldn't tell me what it was. But I sat here, asked this dude a million questions. I did learn some stuff.
Okay.
Well, no, I have something good from that. I'm not trying to hijack your story, but I'm a big, lightsaber guy, and I do the lightsaber fight choreography and the flow and all that good stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had to ask him about if he took anything from the set. And I had to ask him about the lightsaber. And he was telling me, this was a surprise to me, because if you go and you look at the prequels, Hayden has a Graflex, sort of Graflex with no details on it and a little skinny neck, you know? This dude said, the dude playing Vader said that the saber he used for that was straight up what you see. He said, and it was heavy too. He said like it must have been made out of a heavier metal like brass or something. Because he said it was exactly all the little knobs and details and stuff on it. He said it's exactly what you saw. There was not like a special stunt version of this thing. And he said it was very heavy. So it was cool, getting to hear that kind of stuff from somebody who worked on the set for these kinds of things,
That's amazing.
Didn't they also have, like, you can tell that there's actual lights in the blade?
Yeah.
They had this in the sequels as well, which I thought was always really cool. But the fact that they have all these like lights and stuff inside of the blade, so you can actually see them when they clash.
Right.
It really makes the lighting look cool. I know.
So I'm under the impression that if you look at some of the hilts from 7 in particular, there's a lot of backstage stuff from 7. You can see little antennas on the hilts. So I think that the lights were controlled externally from the inside of the saber. I think that they were able to, like somewhere else, somebody was able to control them or something. They have little receivers on them. You can look at it in the backstage photos. Cool. I don't know for sure.
That's really cool. But yeah, so while we got you here, I figured I'd ask you a couple questions.
Oh, you didn't do my quote though, or not my quote, my reply.
Yeah. My bad.
I replied too.
You said my favorite con experience is probably getting to show off my saber moves in front of Ray Park.
Yeah. Darth
I
Maul.
wouldn't be able to, I would drop my saber so fast, dude. I would be so nervous. What was that like?
So I have a very, very short celebrity. I don't care about celebrities really. I have a short celebrity little checklist of people I wanted to meet. And in the past, I met the others. I wanted to meet Ron Perlman because I do the Hellboy costume.
Yeah.
So I've met Ron Perlman, and I wanted to meet Mick Foley. Mick Foley was my favorite pro wrestler growing up. So I did the Mankind costume, and I got a picture with him. That was fun. But Ray was the most important one because I do all this lightsaber stuff, and it's literally because of him, you know? So he was the last one, and he was the most elusive one, too. You know, I couldn't find him at any cons on the East Coast, without going out to California or something like that, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And he came to Columbia, which is not very far from where I'm at, Columbia, South Carolina. And I didn't get anything signed. I didn't do anything like that. I had one thing that I wanted to do, and I've wanted to do since I started doing all this stuff. I wanted to get a video with Ray where I told him I would pay him whatever I had to. I wanted a video of him doing something with the lightsaber, and then I wanted to do it, you know, kind of play horse with him, so to speak, because I know all of his moves because I've studied everything he does. You know, I'm a very big fan. So I wanted to kind of play horse with him, but his manager was like, no, absolutely not. He's not allowed to do anything with the lightsabers. And so when I got up there to meet him, I'm like, I'm not going to be annoying about it. I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to double down on this. And I'm going to ask Ray himself, because the manager said, if I hand it to Ray and he does something, that's not in anybody's control. So I handed it to him, and I really kind of just gave one push, will you do this? I really want you to do this. And he looked at me, and he had the saddest look on his face. And he was like, no. I said, I can't do that sort of stuff anymore. He said, I broke somebody's lightsaber, and they won't let me do it anymore. That's what he told me. And I said, hey, I'll fix it. Please break it. And he was like, no. He thought about it for like a second. He's like, no, I can't do that. So he gave it back to me, and, I talked to him, all that stuff. And I was telling him that he was a big inspiration for me, and that I learned, all these lightsaber tricks. So I was inspired by him. And then you can tell he just has this moment of like, well, I can't do anything, but you can show me what you can do. And I'm like, bet. So I think it went really quick because he didn't know that I could do what I can do. I don't think he expected all that. And you can tell it went really quick of, oh, okay, he's pretty good, to holy shit, let me get my phone. And he's literally fumbling around through his bag trying to find his phone. He pulls the phone out. If you watch the video, I'm in the middle of doing the stuff, and he's recording me like, hey, can I film you? Can I film you? Because he was fumbling around trying to find his phone. So that was pretty cool. And then not only did that's actually better, I guess, because like in my head, I wanted to do this video, but what ended up happening is I impressed him. So he recorded me. So that's kind of cool, And then he posted it on his Instagram, like the next day. So that was pretty cool. It made it worthwhile, I guess. Even though I didn't get what I wanted, I still got something really nice out of it,
Yeah, that's no joke.
What was even more fun is that so my friend was supposed to come with me, who does the fight choreography and stuff with me. He wasn't able to go with me because he had a friend pass away. So Ray popped up again at a comic book store signing in Charlotte, which is about 2 hours from me. And I was like, okay, well, my guy didn't get to go with me, so let's go together. And me and him go, and I was like, this is your Christmas present. This was around Christmas. And I was like, this will be your Christmas present. We'll go, and you can get, chance to meet him and get a picture with him and stuff too. Mm-hmm. And when I go up there, he remembered me. So that was really the best part about it. He said, oh, Mark, I remember you. And that just made my day.
Deceased. I would have died right there.
Oh.
I would have fallen over. Like,
I have another good one though with Ray from that meeting, because this time around, since I had already met him and already talked to him and already did all this stuff, I was like, I want my friend, to really get a chance to talk to him more than me. So he's talking to him about all this stuff, and I'm trying to. We're gonna all take a picture together. So I'm trying to get us set up to take the picture. I'm giving my phone to this guy who's taking the pictures. I've handed Ray a saber. I've got mine. My friend's got his. I'm trying to position us while they're talking. I'm trying to keep the line moving. Yeah. And I'm trying to position us, and I need to figure out how big the saber is to fit it in the shot. So I grab the saber, Ray's holding it, and I go to pull it, and it don't go nowhere. And I'm telling you, he looks at me, and you see Ray Park, and he's this nice, friendly guy or whatever. And I'm telling you, right there in that second, I seen Darth Maul. I seen the real Darth Maul. This wasn't Ray Park. He looked at me like, "How dare you take this out of my hand? This is mine now." He gave me that look. And so I ain't no bitch. I don't know if I can cuss, but I ain't no little bitch. So I don't back down. I'm not gonna back down. So I pull it harder. And I get it from him, and he was like, "Oh, I just had it on my foot." Something like that. And I was like, "I'm just posing the picture." But yeah, so that was something.
Okay. I was gonna say I've never gotten to meet Ray. I've seen stuff on his Instagram every now and again.
You've seen me on there if you go look at it. I'm on there.
I'm gonna have to go and look through there.
I had blonde hair. I had the spiked up blonde hair at the time. I was Super Saiyan.
Okay. I may have seen that. I don't remember.
But yeah, it's on there.
I think I saw it when you shared it. I think I've seen you share it. Maybe. Well, because when was this?
This was probably it was last year, probably the end of the summer last year.
I think I was following you at that time, so I think I did actually see it.
Were. I'm pretty sure you were. I'm pretty sure you followed me that long.
Yeah, I've been following you for a while. Yeah, your flow work is just incredible. Every time I see one of your videos, it gets blown away. My favorite move that you do, and I'm not at that level yet, but when you are able to take it and you bring it down one arm and you it glides around you to the other. I'm doing a horrible job explaining it. But
it's called an angel roll.
Yeah, when you can balance it on your shoulder and roll it around your neck and then catch it.
My favorite move like that is called the Jesus, and it's similar to that move, but it's less down the arm and it's more on the inside, and it goes around the neck. And the reason it's called a Jesus is because you flip it around, and as you turn, so it's a 360. You do a full circle. And when I'm turned around, I'm leaned back like this, and it comes across my chest and then goes back around my neck and then right back to where I started.
That's no joke.
I can't do it without it being a staff, though. Oh, go ahead.
How did you learn that? How did you learn? Where did you begin?
Okay, doing lightsaber stuff. I used to say I'm older than you guys. I've been around a little while. You got to rewind back to around the time when The Force Awakens came out, right?
Okay.
And at the time, there was Ultra Sabers and Saber Forge, and that was pretty much it. There wasn't a million pop-up stores every other day. Mm-hmm. So there were communities centered around, custom lightsaber stuff. And Ultra Sabers had a forum, and I bought a cheap stunt Ultra Saber thing or whatever. And I learned how to do some tricks with that because I was going to a big party. You're in South Carolina, in Myrtle Beach. They have the big Halloween party at Broadway at the beach, and it's pretty big deal. There's all kinds of stuff out there. Mm-hmm. So I was going out to that, and I threw my Jedi costume together, and I got my crappy little Ultra Saber stunt saber, and I didn't want to go out and look like an idiot. So that's what started me spinning and stuff like that. That's where I started learning to do tricks and all that. You know what I mean? But talk about the more advanced stuff. I picked up all that stuff, and then I just kind of kept going, right? And I think the first time I saw somebody do some moves like that, it was probably Michelle Smith. And let me tell you, I used to really not like Michelle Smith. Not because she did anything wrong or anything like that, but because I was actively doing things and trying to get things out there trying to get over on social media and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And all my friends would just always share Michelle Smith and always post Michelle Smith. And I'm like, hey, how about me? How about share me? You know what I mean? That sort of deal.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
and then her tutorials and stuff around how to do these moves and stuff like that. They were I feel like Michelle's tutorials are made for Michelle. Like if you aren't her, you can't really do them. But that's just my opinion. I'm sure somebody out there would argue with me, but it's like she teaches you the easy stuff, and then when it gets to the hard stuff, she just skips over a whole lot. But that was my introduction to that sort of stuff. And that's what those tutorials not really doing it for me or what really made me determined to figure it out. You know what I mean?
It's that offer of a challenge that makes you like, I need to do this.
Right. Well, I'm like, well, it's possible. So there has to be a way to do it, even if her tutorial seems like it's not really like she's skipping something, It's honestly enough for me to get outside and just figure it out myself.
Because I was watching one of her tutorials for the double Obiani spin, and it was a good tutorial, but I could definitely tell that she was kind of skipping over some steps, and she was like, "And you're gonna go over your head." And I'm like, "How the fuck? That's not how the move works." And I was like,
right.
And I was like, because like from everyone that I've seen, it just didn't line up for me, and I'm like, okay, something is missing here.
Yeah.
And what I ended up doing, because I can do an Obiani with both arms, it was just doing it at the same time. And then, ironically enough, you had come out with a video on how to do Obiani, and when you made it click, when you said take your fist and like put it up against your ribs and kind of like that, and I was like, so then I started doing it and following through, and because basically like I guess some kind of like the kind of drag like that. So
he's about to demonstrate for us.
He's about to demonstrate. This is pretty regular.
Right.
Where you kind of bring it in like that around. And this is with my weak arm.
Right. So if you're going to do it with both hands, it's alternating. You're going to do one. Think about your shoulders. One's going to be in the front. One's going to be in the front. It's going to go front, back. Your shoulders are going to go. Kind of think like Conor McGregor. You know that little thing he does with his arms that people like to make fun of? It's literally that.
Oh, yeah. We do it like that.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Your arms and your shoulders are doing the same thing.
But yeah, so when you posted that tutorial, that like made it click in my head. Where I was like, oh, okay. Because I was like, what
listen, I don't like to brag. I don't like to brag too much, but I'm a damn good teacher. I am. I'm a pretty good teacher.
I really liked how you broke it down to the point of like simpleness. Because when I'm learning something, I need that broken down to the point of like most people will be like, oh, I can get it. You don't have to break it down that far, but like me, I need that.
So everybody learns differently. Everybody totally learns differently. And I don't like making tutorial videos because what works for one person doesn't work for another person. I like to be able to see where you're doing it wrong. That's why I was mostly doing private lessons and stuff like that. But at some point, we got to make some money, right? So
I feel so true.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great tutorial. I was very thankful for that, and it kind of helped me go a long way. Although,
those moves, the harder moves, you were asking about those, right? How I got into doing those. It has a lot to do also with fire performing and stuff like that, because I used to do the stuff with lightsabers, and then I had a friend who was doing fire stuff. And he's like, oh, why don't you go ahead and try this? He said, it's the same thing. If you can do it with a lightsaber, you can do it on fire. That's not true. There's a lot more that goes into it. Safety and training and getting ready and stuff like that. So before Dylan goes and picks up a fire sword, please call me first and let me help you out before you go in and do it.
Yeah, fire's not on my list anytime soon. I'll stick to my my lightsabers for now.
I was going to say, if
I
Dylan
would
picks up a
burn
fire
myself.
sword, it's either going to be a call from me or Aaron, probably immediately.
Well, I got my first fire prop, and I must have practiced with it for months before I ever even lit it up, you know. But I ended up getting involved with other fire performers, and there are some incredibly talented people. It's just really funny to me how do I want to say this? Like, a lot of times people see me and the stuff that I do, and they're like, "Oh my God, amazing! You're the best thing," you know. But I'm always so like whatever about everything because I'm not that good. I mean, I am. I'm safe, and everything I do is super clean, and I'm really professional about everything that I do. But I have friends that can do things I can't even imagine, you know? It's all in how you present yourself, I guess. But that's why I try to stay humble because there are people I know, there's always a bigger fish, you know?
That's one of the best lines on Phantom Menace right there.
It's true though. It's true.
It is. It's very true, and it's one of those things that, like, you know, I used to. There's a few times where, like, you know, sometimes you see the bigger, like, influencers, and they do the windmill influencer spin, I call it, where it's like the same like 3 moves, and like it looks pretty on camera, but it's like, okay, this is like really basic. And
well, for me, what had happened for me is that I never wanted to be somebody else. You know, I think that's the most important thing about if I can teach you guys anything, if you're trying to get over as an influencer or do anything on social media, don't try to be somebody else. Don't look at what I do. Don't look at what somebody else does. Find what you're good at, you know, and make that the thing, you know, and don't do the same things over and over again.
That's why I've never attempted any of y'all's Jedi sword wizardry. I like my blasters, and I like that sort of stuff. I have tried the lightsaber thing. I have a couple of my own. It's cool. I don't know how you do it. I have a great deal of appreciation for what you do. I will never be able to.
Eli does the Indiana Jones, the quick draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. If Dylan and I ever get in a duel, I'm likely to just pull out a Nerf gun and
that's I've gone off the deep end because I started performing at like Ren fairs and doing all this stuff. So like now I'm out here like, and now I got to know how to juggle. Now I got to know how to do whips. I do whip tricks. I got a fire whip that shoots fireballs out of it. I'm out here juggling torches and knives, and it just never ends for me. It is a rabbit hole of things that never end because I want to know how to do everything, you know?
That's so cool.
You were talking whips. At the age of 5, at the age of 5, my parents showed me the first Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
So 5-year-old me watched Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I watched Harrison Ford, you know, swing around on a bullwhip and use it to fight Nazis, and then I watched those Nazis' faces melt off. My parents told me to cover my eyes. I've never told you this, Mom and Dad. I didn't. I looked through my fingers.
See, I was watching Michelle Pfeiffer take the head off of mannequins and Batman.
Fair. But at 5 years old, you know, I had like they had like the Indiana Jones whip toy, which when you push the button made like the sound and played the theme song.
Yeah.
And I was like, this thing's very okay. I knew at 5 that I wanted more. My mom worked on a ranch growing up, and so she had this bullwhip which was like 15 feet long.
Right.
That was the real deal. And so she got me this little leather braided one, which is it's a little longer than the length of my arms. But I went as Indiana Jones for Halloween for 3 years following that. I had this leather hat that my mom had, and she was like, "This is yours now." Stuck it on my head, and I was like, "This is the scene from Last Crusade." But at the ripe age of 5, I was cracking a bullwhip better than all of my uncles who, you know, I'd go to like a family Halloween that we'd have out at my grandparents' house. And they're like, "You know how to use that thing?" Bam, bam. I think so.
Nice.
So I know I follow, I think it's Jacques the Whipper.
Yeah.
And I've seen him do some whip stuff.
Listen, I'm not as good as any of those high-end whip fellas. For me, I know how to do some tricks, but like one of the things people don't realize with whips is that there's so many kinds, and all of them behave differently. You know, like the dude doing the whips with the song, he's got like this little one, and he can do, you know, just quick. He can do these wrist cracks. Mine's bigger, and I know that you can do some of these things, but like mine's on fire, so
Right.
I tend to just kind
It
of
is a completely different ball game.
yeah. So I mean, like I have my routine that I set up to do with it, and I can do, you know, all the standard stuff. But then I paired my flow stuff with it, right? So like I Annie the whip, you know, I do like the plum flower, and I move around and walk around with it and change directions and stuff, all while mixing in like overhead cracks and reverse overhead cracks and forward backwards, and then doing like a figure 8 crack. And then once I got to the point where I was like, oh, this is pretty cool, you know, how can I make it even more ridiculous? I'm like, let's do 2, you know, so now I can do 1, 2, fireball, you know, that kind of deal.
That's cool.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's probably the most fire out of any of the props that I've used is the whip. So 2 whips is I haven't lit it yet. Not both at the same time yet. I'm a little scared, but you know, fear turns to excitement pretty quick, you know.
Fair point.
That's
fair
true.
Point. You said that you do Ren fairs. Do you have any coming up here that we might be able to catch yet?
So I have to talk with. So last year I worked for Carolina Ren Fair as a cast member.
Okay.
And I have to talk to them about whether I'm doing that again this year or not. I haven't. I need to. I just keep putting it off. I honestly, to be completely honest with you guys, I don't have anything on the books coming up. I just did the Viking experience not too long ago, which was something. It was fun, I guess. No, I don't have anything lined up anytime soon. I normally in November there's the Mythical and Medieval Fest in Myrtle Beach, and they're doing 2 weekends this year. And I organize the fire show for that. And we do a really big show for that one. It's pretty cool.
When in November is it?
Last weekend of November. It's gonna be 2 weekends. I'll give you I'll send you
My
the
birthday's right
info.
around that time. I may have to
Yeah, it's fun. I like that one a lot.
That sounds like a ton of fun.
Well, one of the reasons I like that one so much is that it's a charity event. And it's for the kids' foster home in Myrtle Beach. And like to me, it's more important than somebody making millions of dollars. You know what I mean? Because the money that we raise from that pretty much pays for those kids' Christmas. And once again, you know, not to be that way, but I think a lot of people don't think about, you know, kids in the foster system, like the stuff they can and can't do. So like going to the movies is not something those kids can do. Having the, you know, just going out and doing something like going to the water park or something like that. It's not something those kids can do on a regular basis. So like having that money is, you know, it helps them not only get their Christmas gifts and stuff. They do a lot of that stuff, but it also, that money goes towards taking them out to do things throughout the year. They do a couple big trips, I think. The charity is Caleb's Dragonfly Dreams. Yeah, so I like stuff like that, you know. Yeah. I like to help people out.
Absolutely. I do a good bit of Ghostbuster stuff on my page, but I know that the Ghostbuster franchises around the world, they work a lot with the nonprofits, and I want to get involved with that. I just don't know.
Well, one of the things that's cool for me, you know, doing this stuff is like, it's not like, oh, you're doing this for charity and you're raising money for some thing you never see. You know, that's going straight to that home that's right there in town. And honestly, the kids that age out, they come to the event, you know, and support the event. And then sometimes kids that are in the homes and stuff come to the event, and they'll even work it sometimes. So you're literally meeting the kids that you're helping in some cases. You know, and I think that stuff's awesome. But yeah, I thought the theme of this thing was cons, guys. We're supposed to talk about cons, aren't we?
I mean, we fully claim that tagline of most disorganized podcasts on the internet.
We're going back and forth. I got a con question. Yeah,
con question.
I do have a con related question though. So if you had any advice for somebody who's a first time con goer, what advice would you give?
Bring water. Whether the rules say bring in,
Yes.
you can have food or drink or not, bring something to drink, water, something, Gatorade, electrolytes, because you don't know if it's going to be hot in there, and if you're cosplaying, you're gonna sweat.
Oh.
You know.
Oh.
So, and I don't want to be generic
during
with something
cosplay,
like
you
that. But yeah, you need to have something
that
like
is-
that.
that is really good advice.
And if you don't do that, comfortable shoes help. Because a lot of cosplays you can't even sit down in, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So-
Yeah, sitting down and standing up in Boba Fett was a nightmare.
Yeah,
You're not used to all that.
I gotta
extra
fit like a
stuff
cowboy
on you.
when I did Dr. Octopus.
Oh.
When I do Dr. Octopus, I gotta flip the chair around and sit in it backwards.
Oh, yeah,
I would
'cause
say
all the
my best advice,
arms.
Yeah.
So I
I'd say my
myself,
best advice for first time con goer is to shower.
Yeah.
Because there are some people
Deodorant.
that yeah, there's some people there that genuinely don't know what that is, and the worst part was when somebody walked by me and you could tell I could smell it through my helmet, and I was like,
Jeez.
oh god. Bro, the string.
I don't know if it was anybody I saw. I didn't think it was that bad.
you got to
I
bring
love
a
it when my
secondary
Wi-Fi breaks.
helmet for your barf
We
bucket.
love it. Thanks, Home Telecom.
Oh yeah, it's at least once per stream. Dylan's internet is going to crap out for a second.
Okay.
It's just something that we've accepted at this point.
Back up.
But I did want to ask you specifically about your Doc Ock.
It's-
I
It's one of those things.
I myself-
my internet service provider.
okay, he's caught up with us now. But I myself, I'm a huge Doc Ock fan.
Yeah.
What was it like having all of the arms, and are they stationary?
Yeah. They don't move. So they wiggle and bounce.
Okay.
But no, they don't move. I wanted to make it so that you could pose them and stuff like that, but
That's a lot.
it isn't, but for the design that I wanted to do, it was. If I wanted to make some movable, posable ones, I totally could, but the design would be not what it is. You know, I wanted the movie look.
Mm-hmm.
So when I sat down to do it, I was like, well, I want it to look like the ones in the movie, but I want it to be bigger than what you see in the movie. So everything's scaled up. The plates are larger than they should be, but I like it that way because instead of doing 100 plates, I have like 12 really big ones, you know? And that works better for cons because if they were any larger, I would not be able to put them anywhere else.
Right.
So I have them, like I can fit them in my car. Barely. I can barely fit everything in my car. That's why I didn't have more stuff at my table because I can't fit nothing in the car.
Right.
With those arms in there. But no, they don't move.
I think the biggest question I have is, how do you get through doors?
I take them off and I put them back on. So, all right. One of the things about it that I did that is very important to me, that I make it as easy as possible because I never know who's going to be helping me. You know what I mean? Because if I'm somewhere and I'm by myself and I'm doing this thing, like I need to be able to just say, hey, can you do this for me? I need to grab Dylan, who's never done it before, and be like, hey, can you take this off of me or can you put this on me? And so the frame itself is a metal bar, like a ring, right? With prongs sticking out about that long. And then the arms themselves go over the metal, right?
Huh.
And then I drilled through all the way through. And there's a bolt that's, probably about that long. And it goes in kind of like a pin. A pin would hold it together, right? So you slide it up till the holes line up, you drop the pin in, and then it kind of slides over and locks, right?
Okay.
And so this way, it's as easy as turning it a little bit until the pin comes loose to get it out, right? So if I needed him to take it off of me, he's never done it before, I would just say grab it and turn it left and right until the pin moves and then pull the pin out and then it slides right off. and I sanded everything inside really smooth, so it all goes on the way it's supposed to. And I belled out the ends so they're larger than the prongs are, so it all goes the way it's supposed to. It's all easy.
That's legit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So like I said, make it as easy to put together too, and take apart just on the fly. Because like I said, I can't get through doors without doing that kind of stuff.
Doc Ock cosplayers have, very special place in my heart. Huge Doc Ock fan. I have there's a guy I follow on YouTube who posted all of the 3D printed files to make ones that are remotely controlled. And so I've been in the process of mapping out a way to use electrodes in order to measure the muscular movements that I have as numerical data to trigger the arms to do different things when they're programmed.
Right.
It's going.
I know a guy who built one that moves and stuff like that. I know a guy who did that. But I'm over here like, listen, the one I made, it's broken twice. And I made it to break because I knew it was going to. You know what I mean? Right. I made it to be so easy to take apart so it'd be just as easy to fix. I would rather break it moving it. I've never broken it wearing it, but it's rubbing together in the car, bump into something and it messes something up. It's easy to fix. When you start building it where it works and you do things like that, that is more and more stuff that's going to break. And that's more and more little things you'll have to fix.
I had not considered this.
It's great. It sounds great on paper, but like practicality of some of this stuff is like that's why I try to keep it simple when it comes to cosplay. You know what I mean? Because the more that you do to it, the more that can go wrong.
Right.
That's something else to learn if you're first time con go or first time cosplayer. The more you do, the more is going to go wrong.
I think another bit of advice is bring a cosplay repair kit.
I totally do.
Having like just a little stitching kit or like a hot glue gun with like one tube. It doesn't.
I have a story.
Much,
I have a story for that too. I got a good story for that.
That I want to hear.
Ties into everything because of Dr. Octopus and cosplay repair. So I did Dr. Octopus for the first time at PowerCon last year. The first one is probably like in March, probably around March. And I did all that, and I met some people while I was there. I met my friend Evan while I was there, right? And she was just thought it was the greatest thing. She's obsessed with Doc Ock and Green Goblin and all that stuff. So she was telling me that moving forward, I was going to be a guest at what was it called? Grand Strand Comic Con. I was going to be a guest at Grand Strand Comic Con in Myrtle Beach. And so she was going to come, and she's never really built a prop like this before. So she was going to build a Dr. Octopus costume and enter it in the contest at that con. Actually, it might have been X-Con. Anyway, it was in Myrtle Beach, and it was a few months later. So she came to that with her Dr. Octopus costume that she made herself. And it had these little tiny foam plates and vacuum hoses. And she made the claws out of soda bottles, very DIY. But I loved it. I thought it was great. But you could tell she's never done it before, and she was working really hard on this. And I inspired her to do it, right? Mm-hmm. So when she gets there with it, I see it and it's falling apart. Like it's falling apart as she's walking around. And part of me is like, well, I gotta help, I gotta fix this. So there's a guy there walking around and he's doing a Fallout costume. He's got like a vault suit and he's got all this, Nuka-Cola caps, and he's got a toolbox he's rolling around that's legitimately full of just everything you could need, things for sewing, things for building armor. He's got everything you could possibly need tied into his costume. And he's built one of the laser pistols from the game, right? And you flip it over and it's a hot glue gun. The pistol prop was a cover to go on his hot glue gun. And needless to say, this got placed in the contest that I was judging. He definitely placed because his props were functional and he was just ready to go, Mm-hmm. So it was just something to see. I'm dressed as a Jedi with this dude from Fallout, and we're just piecing her back together. Like we're sewing strings from the top arms to pull the lower arms to hold them up, and just gluing shit back on there, you know. But we got her set up enough that she could go for the contest to make it in line for the contest. The story doesn't end there. I'm judging for the contest, right? And as she's in line and she's walking up to come get on stage, the claws catch on a trash can, and it just pulls tension and spring loads this thing. And I'm telling you, it exploded all over the place. Just pieces of this just flew all over the stage, right there in front of me. And I'm telling you, like, I would have been traumatized, because all I can think about is, like, I can equate this to, like, let's say I dressed up as Darth Maul and I'm going out in front of a contest as being judged by Ray Park, and then my lightsaber explodes, my blades fly off as I'm trying to do my moves. Oh. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I felt like, and I was like, I would have never cosplayed again. If that would have happened to me, I would have never done it again. But there's a happy ending. I went over there, and after the contest was over, I helped her clean it up. I took it out of the car, and I told her the next day I was doing Dr. Octopus, and after I was done wearing it, I would totally let her wear it and take some pictures, and I did. So
that's
a happy ending.
Yeah,
man, you've got the best stories.
Well, I talk a lot, so
well,
it's always one of my favorite things when we bring people on is letting people share their stories, because, you know,
right,
you can let us two knuckleheads talk for however long, but it's always nice to have people bring on, you know, their fresh perspectives, their stories. Is
right.
It's ultimately, you know, it's the community we try and build here.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and your story made me think of the contest at this past Incredible Con. You know, I'm up there, I'm on the stage, I'm doing my thing, I'm in the zone, and one of my knee pads fell off.
Knee pad came off,
and I didn't even realize it, because I had been sitting, and that was the problem. If I had been standing, it would have been fine. I didn't adjust it after sitting.
Well, thankfully, it came off after. Just so you know, I don't know if you know when it came off. It came off after you were done.
Perfect, because I was
so like you had already gone by. You had already walked across, and I guess you couldn't hear me. I was trying to get you to dance.
That helmet is like it's like a noise canceling headphone almost. Like it's actually really nice, because sometimes like sensory things get a little overloaded.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's nice when it's like, okay, it's too loud.
Helmet on.
Didn't jar in this bitch, you know. But yeah, I genuinely could not hear you. And then I was like,
I was trying to get you to dance. There was like this music playing, and you were just standing there, and like you couldn't hear anything we were saying. They were trying to ask you questions, and I'm like, just dance. Just turn around and do a little dance. So I was trying to tell you.
You gotta do like
and then as soon as I finally heard you say dance, I was like, every single dance move I've ever done left my body and left my mind, and I was like, I could twerk, and then I was like, no, there's children down there. That was the only option in my head.
I could twerk.
I was like, I cannot do this. There was a child right there in the front row. They don't want to see Boba Fett.
And they would have been amazed.
Not with mine. Not with mine. So I was just kind of took my eyes and was like, wee.
It came off after that.
I was very thankful for the helmet, because I was very flustered. My face was definitely like red and shit.
I guess you're not an on stage guy. No, you don't like doing that kind of stuff.
No, I love it. I did drama back in middle school, and I worked scare acting. So normally I'm pretty good at improv. I think the problem was I was kind of hot and overstimulated and dehydrated. So I was kind of standing there just like, huh? And I couldn't hear. and that really threw me off, was not being able to hear.
Yeah. You're just existing within the space.
I was. It was truly no thoughts, head empty. But it was a great contest. And the people, there were some truly amazing cosplays in that contest. And
the Tiny Tina that won, so like I'm not trying to be this way, but like I ain't impressed by shit. I've seen all kinds of stuff. It takes something next level to really impress me. And like, I can tell you what point I realized like this is the best thing is I'm looking at her while she's talking to me about it, and I'm looking at her pants, and I'm just like looking at all she has drawn, every line, every little crease, every little line of detail on these pants, and I'm like, because it's cell shaded. It's Tiny Tina from
Borderlands.
Borderlands, yeah. So the whole thing's cell shaded, and I'm like, hey, like, did you get those pants screen printed? And she's like, no, I hand painted all of this, and I'm like, that's ridiculous. And then she's got these decals on like the little faces on the bombs, and just the level of artistry that was shown in the finishing work on this was probably the best I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
She had this wig that she did the hair, right? And it's all these kind of like anime spikes, right? Mm-hmm. But it's sculpted out of foam clay. And all I could think about is that time I used foam clay and I made feet for my Ninja Turtle, and it didn't look nothing like that.
Yeah, her cosplay was incredible. Let me pull up her @ real quick because I followed her after the con.
Sapphire or something. Sapphire or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking here through
she was amazing.
photos.
And yeah, let me see if I can pull up a photo real quick.
The pictures don't do it justice. The pictures don't do it justice.
Absolutely not.
You had to see it in person. Like, it just got better the more you looked at it. And to me, that's the best thing about a good cosplay is that the longer you look at it, the more little things you find about it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, IX Sapphire.
Holy crap. That's no joke. Borderlands cosplays will always be super impressive to me because like 90% of them have all the cell shading done, and like
right. Now, by the time of the contest, her makeup was messing up a little bit, but I'm gonna overlook that because I saw what it looked like when she got there.
Right.
Yeah, like even Erin, my girlfriend, was like, she like came up to me. She's like, "There's this person whose costume looks like a cartoon," and she's like,
"He'll get it out eventually."
And I'm like, "Okay, I'll get out eventually." Yeah, finally. Thanks, Wi-Fi. I opened the door so you would work better.
The best part is there was one stream where Dylan had to open the door to let his Wi-Fi in.
Yep. Gotta open the door to let the Wi-Fi in. Yeah, it's inevitable at this point. It's just home telecom is shit. Fuck home telecom. All my homies hate home telecom. But anyways, Erin was like, her cosplay is amazing. I was like, what do you mean? And like we were sitting there and we were like, she was like, who? I was like, who do you think is gonna win? And she's like, that girl's gonna win. And I'm like, I agree. There was another guy that did he was a group cosplay, but he did like a Shark Samurai cosplay.
Yeah, they won. They won that.
Yeah, they won the group one. It was like 3D printed. It was incredible. I'll send you guys I'll send you some pictures later. He was phenomenal.
I talked to him quite a bit. That guy makes some really cool stuff beyond just 3D printing stuff. He does a lot of different things.
I talked to him as well for a good bit before the contest. I was like, dude, your costume's amazing. Like I want to know more about this thing.
Well, I told him you need to make action figures of those characters because I would buy one.
They do.
Yeah, he said that was the plan if he was going to do a comic and have all this stuff that he wants to do. And I hope it happens. I hope it happens for him because I thought it was the coolest thing.
Shoot, I would like give him some money on like an Indiegogo or something like that to get that off the ground because it looked genuinely amazing. So I'm trying to think. Do we have anything else you want to talk about? I know we're gonna start wrapping up in a minute. Do you so at the end of the show we do this little segment called News and Rumors where we talk about like stuff going on in pop culture. Eli's got a whole list of them, but
I'm the worst for this kind of thing.
It is
That's okay. I'm
why
bad
he
at it
has me.
too. I just sit here and look pretty. Eli does the hard work.
We trade off
Wait,
our
wait. Before you start, I did bring some things with me I thought you guys might want to see.
Absolutely. I was gonna ask you, do you have anything you want to show us, or?
Well, you saw my helmet.
Mhm.
Yep.
So it is Ninja Turtle themed.
I was gonna say I'm getting Leonardo vibes.
So you can see, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but there's like little spots in the paint job, and kind of like in the second movie when they had the spots on the turtle build.
Yes.
So yeah, Leonardo. It's a Paz Vizsla sculpt, but did that, and this Dylan saw that in person, but this is, I don't know if I can fit this on here, but instead of a jetpack, I'm going to do a shell.
That's
shell?
massive.
That looks
Yeah,
amazing.
it's pretty big.
I love that.
And if you really look at it, like I did this like Beskar, like the raw Beskar ingots.
No kidding.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So that's going to be the backpack for it. And I'm pretty big, so it has to fit me, So that's why it's so big. And then I just finished this like yesterday, and I just did a video on it. This is going to be the chest plate. And it's going to be yellow. Can you see it?
That's so cool.
Yeah. That's holy crap.
So I'm going to put that on like a vest. I'm going to do straps to connect the shell, and then I'm going to stick it to the suit. And this is all just floor mats,
No kidding.
On the paint job, Dylan. That's what I've been on you about. Is they got to work on painting.
Absolutely. That is definitely my week.
I mean, that right there is just a masterclass in weathering and scratches and dents and grime. And
That's my favorite part. I hate building stuff, but painting it's my favorite part. So
relaxing.
I look forward to that part.
My favorite part. The building the process of like taking things and putting it together and like building shit from the templates, that was my favorite part. But when it came to like painting it, I was like, oh my God, just fucking dry already. I'm very impatient.
Since we're talking about Ninja Turtles, and I just have it right here. I have my Leonardo head.
What? Nice.
I'm going to make a new one. I'm going to build a whole new Ninja Turtle at some point. I was actually working on that, and I didn't like how it was going, which is what prompted me to do the Mandalorian. Yeah.
Nice.
Because I like how my shell was going, and I just wasn't happy with the design I did for the head. This is probably 2 or 3 years old, this one here. I have a new design I'm going to do, but I've got it all figured out. You guys will see. I'll have it before too long.
I mean, your foam work is incredible. I mean,
I don't like 3D printing because it takes a week to print a helmet. And I'm like, I built this Mando helmet. It was painted and done in 24 hours.
It was a problem I ran into with my my Doc Ock arms. I have a segment that's about the length of my forearm, and it was like half of what the arm's length was supposed to be, and that took like a week or two of getting all of those individual, because it's individual spine segments that snap together.
Yeah,
that was that.
You should see mine. You should see how it goes on. It's just pipes that I shaped to come out of the back, and then I put all the pieces on individually and then ran the tubes through it and everything like that. But like I said, mine doesn't have to move. So it just looks cool in pictures, which is good enough for me.
Yeah. It's all about what you build it for.
Right. So just like how, I've really thought about doing tutorials on how to build things and paint and all that stuff, because just like how Dylan is sitting here saying, like, I did a tutorial on how to do that Obiani, and I just made it so simple. I made it seem so easy, right? Mm-hmm. Easy to understand. I can most definitely do the same thing for building props. Matter of fact, while I was at Incredible Con, I was talking to the lady in charge, and we were kicking out, ideas for stuff we could do next year. And I'm like, I should do a class. I should do like a panel on prop making. And I bet you I could bring a generic template in there. And if I had a little bit of a budget, I could get enough materials, and I bet I could have everybody in there build something while I'm in there, and I could teach you how to do it, and we could do it clean, and I show you how to start painting it. I bet I could do all that in probably like an hour.
That'd be spectacular.
I would love to learn how to weather. That's probably the thing I want to work on most is weathering, because I told you at Incredible Con, but the next one cosplay I really want to do is Cobb Vanth, and he's dirty, man.
Yeah, he is.
Dirty. His armor's all scuffed up, and I also want to do a version too because I was looking at pictures and my chest, like the upper chest plates on Boba, are a little bit short. So you know, as you go through, I'm still new with this, working with EVA foam and stuff like that. So I'm just learning the process and taking my time as it goes. So
I feel like your costume fits your build though. You're not especially tall or anything like that. So like that's something that I think that when you're building stuff, you have to take into account. Your frame and stuff like that, you know. I don't feel like it looks short on you. I feel like it looks like it fits about right. It looks good.
Well, thank you. I want to make it just like a little bit longer. Like
the one that I did here, this is way too big. Because I'm big. So
I have a really proportioned body.
So I'm of the mind that when I build a prop for me, I need to make it bigger than me so that I can cut it smaller. But I also would like to be able to breathe and move. So this should probably be about half the size of what it is, even to fit me. Because but I can move my arms. My arms are going to sit okay. I'm good. You know, that's all I care about.
That's the important bit.
I'm not making a movie. That's a big one for you guys. Don't think that you're making a movie. Cosplay doesn't always have to be a movie. Those guys doing the 501st stuff, all that stuff, I feel like they ruin it to an extent because they're such snobs. You know, you got film accurate costumes all the time, and it just takes the fun out of it for other people who just want to do it for fun. And just do it for fun. Don't worry about that.
I always think as long as you get the point across of that's the character you're trying to cosplay, then even like bounds and closet cosplays, if as long as you capture the essence of the character, that's what matters more than anything. Yeah. Capturing the essence. I think they just changed their name, but I knew them as like Skywalker Posts. It's like some like I don't want to sound derogatory, but like little girl, she's like 17 or 18 over in California, and she does like a ton of closet cosplays, and she like goes through and she goes through the steps, and she's like, and I use this for this, and like she's doing like these budget builds that like look incredible for like $15-$20.
Right.
Just by reusing props and stuff like that, and going to thrift stores. And she just dropped a new cosplay of a Zeltron original character from Star Wars, like you know, the little like pink aliens.
Yes. Okay. So, I was doing a tabletop game and I had somebody playing a Zeltron.
Phenomenal stuff. So huge shout out to her. But really, that's the thing about cosplay. As long as you're having fun, that's what matters. And the process to build Boba Fett and to build the jetpack was like a personal challenge for me.
Right.
Because I had never done anything like this before. This was the first time I've ever attempted to build armor like this and to do it. So the fact that I did it and completed it and like checked that little box off was everything to me. I was like, is it perfect? Hell no. I have little things I want to do to fix the armor. I have things I want to do to the jetpack to make it look fuller. Because one of the things I noticed is that, especially on my back, it looks really flat. Even though it's pretty detailed, I didn't use thick enough foam when I did it.
I was going to say, I can look at it and tell that you made so many little pieces. And that's what makes it, that's honestly kind of why I laughed when I saw it. I was like, it's amazing how much detail he put into this for it to be so flat.
I know. I was frustrated by that. I was at the point in the process where I was like, fuck it. The con is like 2 days away. I got to paint like tonight. Like basically, I painted up until Saturday morning because I had some issue where like the rocket looked like shit. And I was like, no, I got to make it at least look somewhat serviceable.
Right.
So next process is to get better with the rocket. That's going to be the fun part.
Bro, I would have just went and bought a rocket and just stuck it on there at that point. They went to the fireworks store. We're in South Carolina. They're legal here.
Shit, I didn't even think of that.
Dylan's one-man fireworks show.
I mean, go and take the explosives out of it, but you could still use the rocket off of it and just paint it and stick it on there.
Or even better, don't.
No, don't get in trouble.
Shoot a Roman candle off in the middle of a con. Go wild.
I'll block it with a lightsaber.
That would have been incredible if, like, I walked on the stage, dropped the visor, went like that, and went.
Under the Helmet
You
does
would've
not
got
condone
banned.
shooting off a Roman candle in the middle of a con. Please do not bring active explosives to a con. It's been a while since we've had to do one of these.
Do that. That is a joke. That is a joke. That is why we're all laughing. It is very much a joke.
For a while, we had like at least 3 disclaimers show up per episode, to the point that I was editing them all together, but it was too many and too much work.
Talking about that contest, I don't mean to go back to it, but I have a question, because when I was judging, by the time I'm doing that, I had to take everything off, right? Uh-huh. And I'm just sitting here wondering how many people are sitting out in this crowd talking shit because there's just a dude in a sweater sitting up on the stage. Like,
I didn't hear anybody.
Oh, nobody said anything? Because I'm like, they got to be judging me because I'm not even dressed up, like.
Well, like you had your booth, so like people saw you, and then I saw you off at the corner before it started. You had somebody's like looked like the Blades of Chaos, and you were like twirling them. I saw you.
Yeah. Medusa had these swords that were on chains, right? And she comes over and she's like, "What the hell am I supposed to do with this?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Like, what can you do with the chain?" So like, I could do the 3-beat. I could do that with it. And then I'm like, "Well, what happens if we take the chain and swing it around?" And I broke it.
Oops.
But then, well, I mean, it was just plastic. We just snapped it back together. But yeah. I don't know what the sword is whatever character she was supposed to be. I'm not a big anime person.
Me either. Like, huge shout out to all the people that cosplay anime stuff, but I just don't get it. I would just be like, cool.
That is nice. I have no idea what it is, but
some of them take it very seriously too.
They do.
That's what's pretty crazy about it all. But the thing I was worried about, because both days, particularly the second day, because I feel like a lot of people saw me the first day. I had a lot of traffic over at my booth the first day with Dr. Octopus. Pretty much anybody who walked through, people were seeing me from across the room, coming over to take pictures with me. But the second day I did Hellboy, and I didn't do it past 12 o'clock. You know what I mean? Like, I was there and I wore it long enough for the group photo shoot outside. I talked to some people here and there. I did a couple walk arounds through the floor, but by between 12 and 1, I was like, I'm done with this one. It was so hot, and I actually rolled my ankle going that morning, like trying to walk really fast to get down there. I rolled my ankle and completely fell and like landed on the hand. It was fine. Didn't get a scratch on it, surprisingly. But this one girl in the hall saw me bust my ass, so that's funny.
It's the beauty of foam. You can kind of heat gun out just about anything that happens to it.
Well, nothing bad happened to it, thank goodness. It was totally fine. Not a scratch on it. And I was shocked because I landed on it.
Yeah, I missed that second day. It was my my little sister, her high school graduation party. So
right.
I went to that.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was just worried about people, being like, "What's this idiot?" You know what I mean? It's just Medusa's in drag all day, and the other girl changed outfits like twice. Like Sarah changed outfits twice.
Yeah, Sarah. She originally did what was it? Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman.
Yeah, she was Catwoman.
She had to change because it was just so hot in there.
She was leaking out of her mask. That's how hot it was.
Yeah, it was hot. I could tell by the end of the day, like when we were waiting for the results for the contest to get announced, like Aaron and I were sitting there, and she was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I'm very hot," and it's getting to the point of like I'm starting to get overstimulated. Like we just need to like relax. I just need to sit here and just be quiet for a minute. Like I need to have some quiet time.
You mean you didn't want to get in the dance party?
I was gonna break something if I got in that party.
Fair.
There were some people in some very mobile cosplays. I was not one of them. There's a reason Boba Fett walks the way he does, and it's not because he wants to look cool. It's because he can't fucking see. He has this. He has
See,
this.
you say that, but all I can think of is that one Disney stage show where you see Boba Fett like walk out
Yeah.
and do the thing, and then
Moonwalking.
he's like
Moonwalking.
Damn.
Listen, I don't know how that guy does that. I could not. That is a
Practice.
pro. That is
You tried my helmet on, you can see out of mine, yeah?
That is That is what you call a professional dancer.
I think we just got to stretch first. You know, it's morning of the con. You wake up and you do your lunges. You stretch. I can't do it right now because I'll rip my suit.
That's a professional dancer. I'm just some dude. I'm just a guy. I'm just a fella.
Well, you know what? You do pretty good for just a fella.
Thank you.
Do we want to do news and rumors now? I've had
Yep.
the slides.
Okay, yeah, go for it. Sorry.
Let's hop
All
on
right.
over to news and rumors.
Let's see. That's Cross Spider-Verse. That's Cross Spider-Verse. I'm saving those for when we do that episode. We got a trailer for a new Star Wars game, Star Wars Outlaws, which will be coming out next year. It looks pretty spectacular. Everything that I've seen, because they, we'd heard, Ubisoft is doing an open world Star Wars game. Ubisoft is doing a Star Wars game.
You trust anything Ubisoft makes?
Not normally.
They made Watch Dogs. That was completely different.
But they also made Assassin's Creed. And
I give them a little bit of credit.
Assassin's Creed is like the biggest game of nothing. There's like a whole open world of jack shit.
Yeah.
True. Black Flag was my favorite though. Like
that one is the best one. That's the best one. That's the only one I like.
Black Flag was the last one I played, and apparently, Unity had so many bugs and glitches on launch. Like
Syndicate was pretty good. I liked Syndicate. But Syndicate also gave me a grappling hook.
Black Flag was incredible. I really liked that one. And that one, the open world was pretty active. Like you could go through and you could actually like do things. I really liked the pirate stuff in that game. So if they make it like Black Flag, I'm in. If they make it like any of the newer ones, I'm a little concerned. Because the newer ones looked very grindy.
I just don't trust anything Ubisoft does. I'm not saying they don't do good stuff every now and again. But it's one of those, I'll wait until it's on sale, or I'll wait until somebody, tells me that this is actually pretty good,
Yeah.
I do have some interesting news. I don't know how much you guys have seen of the game. The little creature. Its name is Nyx that Kay Vess, the main character, has. That thing is voiced by D. Bradley Baker.
Have you seen the trailer?
I have. It looks really good, which is what gets me so excited about it.
It looks good. I don't have a gaming console, so I can't really do much in the gaming realm. So it's nice to kind of look back and wait.
What did you play Cal Kestis's game on?
He didn't.
I played Fallen Order on Xbox One. I have not played Survivor.
Okay.
I watched all. I spoiled myself. I spoiled all the clips on YouTube.
Survivor was a lot of fun. I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I am hard to get to play a video game, and I enjoyed that one.
It nearly makes my computer explode when I boot it up, but it's good.
I got it
PC
on console.
Says the man who can't even play the game. Moving on. We have a new release schedule for a lot of the MCU movies, specifically Phase 5 and 6. Movies that have new release dates. Deadpool 3... That's not the one. Okay.
Deadpool's not MCU, though, is it? It's...
It is.
Well, Disney bought Fox.
Oh, okay.
It's now being made under Marvel as a... It's been indoctrinated. Essentially, I think it's going to end up being their bridging point for bringing mutants into the MCU, but it's really going to be a question of like how all that works.
Right.
Deadpool 3 is now coming May 3rd of 2024, followed by Captain America: Brave New World on August 26th of 2024. Within that same year, rounding things out, will be Thunderbolts, which will be coming on December 20th of 2024. Kicking off 2025 will be Blade on February 5th or February 14th.
Who's playing Blade?
Who's playing Blade? I forget the.
He was in Luke Cage. Is it Mahershala Ali? Is it?
I think so.
Yeah, because Wesley Snipes was the original Blade.
Of course,
Mahershala Ali.
Now.
Yeah. It's Mahershala Ali. Yeah, that's who it is.
I'll have to check that out. I like Blade. Blade's a character I'm pretty big on.
Blade's good. I don't know if Wesley Snipes is gonna cameo at all in the new movie. I think it'd be cool.
Fucking surprised.
I'd be surprised if they don't, because I know that Blade is one of those cult classics that if you like Blade, you really, really like those movies.
Right.
They had him on at work one day. It was just the third one.
They get progressively worse, which is saying a lot because the first one's not great, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of stupid fun. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. A movie does not have to be a cinematic masterpiece. For
Exactly.
Me to enjoy it.
Exactly.
If I had fun at the movie, I had fun at the movie.
Right.
And then
that's how I also feel that way about Thomas Jane's Punisher.
I like that one.
That's love that movie. That movie is such stupid fun. Especially when he fights the Russian.
Yeah, Kevin Nash.
That dude was a beast. I think he actually got stabbed.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Got stabbed on set. Like
the
Punisher stabs him and he just kind of looks and backhands him off. They didn't switch the prop knife for the actual knife, so he actually got stabbed in the chest and he just kept playing.
Ooh.
That's how you know you're strong. When you can get
the guy that was we're just gonna go into stupid trivia. That's Kevin Nash, right? So he used to be a wrestler in WCW, and he was actually Super Shredder in TMNT 2. He was the guy in the suit when the big giant shredder comes out under the water or whatever, and they crush him with the building. It's the same guy.
It's been a while since I've seen those movies. I need to rewatch those.
Way.
It's not good. The first one's fantastic. The second one, not good, but it's stupid fun. Right in the line of Blade and everything else.
I like my stupid fun movies.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, let's see. Rounding things out, we have rumors about the new Star Wars movie that is set following the sequels. We know next to nothing about it. We know it's going to be following Rey building up a new Jedi Order. We know that Daisy Ridley is returning, and reportedly, Idris Elba is being considered for the villain role within the film. This comes from the source of shit I found on the internet, which is ultimately where all of our news and rumors come from. It's stuff I find on Instagram, and then I share with all of you. And that's why we don't call it news. We call it news and rumors for a reason. It might be true. It might be bullshit. You never know. It's up to you guys to decide what you think.
Well, I also saw that they're releasing, I think right now, they just moved one of the Star Wars movies to release in May of 2020. Was it 2025? And another one is releasing in December. So,
okay,
we might be getting two movies in 2025.
That would be lit. I'd be okay with that.
I think it really does depend on the writer's strike. I think that's the big thing causing a lot of these delays, and the fact that Marvel keeps hiring actual supervillains to be their villains. First Kang, and now Namor. So yikes.
We're gonna see how that goes if we get ourselves some recasts coming soon. But rounding things off, my last bit of news is Marvel. So Marvel Studios' The Incredible Hulk is finally coming to Disney Plus tomorrow, which seemingly confirms that the rights to both Hulk and Namor have officially reverted back to Disney, because they were Universal. given that Incredible Hulk is now coming to Marvel, this hopefully means that we are also getting the World War Hulk movie that everyone has been just talking about for ages now. So we'll see what goes on there. But that's all I got. That's everything I have for news and rumors. I think that rounds things out pretty well.
Yep. Well, Mark, want to thank you for joining us, man.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate you having me on here.
It's always nice when we get to bring people on.
Absolutely, man.
Especially just, yeah.
I hope I get to get up and do something with you at a con here pretty soon or something like that.
Absolutely. I'd love to do. I know we had talked about. Who knows, man? Who knows? I know we had talked for this con, but it kind of fell through. But doing Darth Maul and Obi-Wan, so
right.
we have to look out for that. Maybe we could work on and get the choreography for the Phantom Menace fight. That'd be fun.
Oh, I can already do it. I just have to be getting you to do it. I already do it.
I gotta practice.
He said, "I am ready."
I've been working on the moves. I've actually studied some of the moves and have kind of been working on it. So I just gotta double down.
We can do that.
So
that would be fun. I also think that something that would be fun would be to do because I have a Darksaber now. I think you should do Clone Wars Obi-Wan. Since you say you like to build props, why don't you build the little chest thing?
That would be cool.
I think that could be fun.
That'd be good.
That would be really
I want to
cool.
see it.
And then are you thinking about Pre-Vizsla?
No, I was gonna do Maul. Maul has the Darksaber. He ruled Mandalore for a moment.
Yeah, that's true.
I just have to build robot legs.
Obi-Wan didn't really fight. Are you gonna do the chicken legs? That'd be fun. Are you gonna do the chicken legs?
No, I don't think I'm gonna do all that, but I think I might, make some robot-looking boot pieces and do the little shoulder pads and make his belt. I think he's got some gauntlet pieces or something like that too. I have a pretty generic Sith outfit that I did a long time ago. That's very similar to what he wears. It's not the exact same thing, but once again, we ain't making a movie here. I'm gonna make the belt and the little accessory pieces, and I think it'll read.
Absolutely. And when you have the face paint and the horns, nobody's gonna be like, "Oh my God, your costume is the wrong shade of fabric." Like they're like, "That's Darth Maul."
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
It's not like cosplaying Mandalorian where you're just Boba Fett all the time.
Exactly. Well, again, thanks for joining us. I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. So, time for me to do my outro.
Oh, do we put our helmets back on?
Normally,
outro
yes.
helmet is
Okay.
on. We're doing the bit. There we go. Love it. Thank you, everybody, for joining another episode of the most disorganized podcast on the internet. If you like what you saw here today, you made it to the end. You might as well like, comment, share, and, of course, subscribe to Under the Helmet Podcast. Join that Discord. And, of course, follow us on Instagram so you can comment on our posts and be in the Hothbreaker. All of that is in the down below area. So you should do that now if you have not already. So, with that being said, have a good night. May the Force be with you. And we will see you the next time that we go Under the Helmet. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.